Welcome to the Good Talk, our recap and Q&A show where we go over the game we just played or the games we just played and answer your questions. And of course, this is the end of a very long day, a marathon day. So I think we're all a little tired, but we've got the energy. Push on through, answer these questions because we've had 2 awesome games of Warhammer today.
Great, absolutely, very energetic, high stakes. Clearly,
that's right. The highest of stakes.
Both very wild and a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's right. In the morning or early afternoon, we played the Adeptus Mechanicus against the Drukhari.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. These weren't necessarily competitive games, but there are 2 very powerful armies.
Yeah.
And very cool game there. And then we just finished playing, just moments ago, the new Iron Jaws, which is the Orcs Battle Tome, against the new Stormcast Eternals. And that was actually a really cool game. Lots of back and forth there. Cool. Had a lot of fun today. It was definitely, streaming is a lot harder than even like a tournament day, and those are already pretty draining. So it was a lot to get through, but they were just so much fun. It was great to get through.
It was a ton of fun, and I was really having a lot of fun with the Iron Jaws rules. It's such a synergistic army. I can really see. I feel like it's much more interesting than it was before. The way all the command abilities work and the proccing certain things.
Yeah.
Like they've kind of restructured it a bit and kind of trimmed it. And I like it, actually. I think looking at the book now, I think the most interesting parts are the Iron Jaws and the Cruel Boys. The Bone Split are pretty bad, and the Big Wa stuff lost some of its charm, in my opinion.
Right.
To me,
they really want you to pick the specific factions, right?
Exactly. So I'm excited for them, and I'm excited to get some more brutes of my own.
I thought they were surprisingly durable, and I really like that about them. I think orcs should be tough.
Exactly.
And when they got buffed up, they could be proper killy, and that's kind of what you want out of them. I think that's great. And your main character is a nightmare. He's so scary, so strong.
Gordrak.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you let him snowball, he'll just go out of control.
I'm going to have to figure
He needs a ward
out-
save, though.
Exactly. He doesn't have a ward save. Whereas if I was a regular Maw Crusher Mega Boss, I could give him the generic relic artifact for the 5 up. So I'm going to have to kind of... Obviously, I was going to play Gordrak in the first game, but I'm going to have to see which one...
Do the normal Maw Crushers get the snowball like +1 wound and attack thing?
Yes.
Or is that special to him?
They
all get
ability,
that?
Yeah. The main difference is, of course, he has the special weapons that can do mortal wounds against the perfect target.
Sure.
Which isn't that common. In this case, he happened to be fighting literally one non-wizard hero and one wizard hero. And he gets, the big thing is, of course, his command ability to grant that to 3 different
units. Which is great.
It's amazing.
It never really came into play once.
I did not use it well at all. I had that one turn, that one big swing turn for me, where I gave him and the other unit all-out attack.
Right.
And it's really designed for that, right? Where it's like, okay, all-out attack, you call your WAP properly, unlike I did.
Yeah.
Kill a unit, proc another one, kill another unit, proc another one, and in a way, if you line it up, you're fighting first with all your big fighting units.
Which is pretty rad.
It's cool. It's a lot
You could definitely plan like a very lethal turn.
Yes, that's the idea. So they had a lot of fun with them. How was it playing the new Stormcast book for you?
Really cool. A lot better than it was before, especially for the first generation models.
They were awesome.
Yeah,
I was terrified.
It's cool just to have. I used some of my own secondaries, which was great. I got to play into that dragon a little more. I'm so excited to have the new dragons when they come out, and you can see how they're even tougher and they play into those secondaries more. I love. My biggest improvement, number one, is like I would cut everything else and just this, keep this, is that I can now pick my warlord traits, relics, command traits, and all that sort of stuff. I don't have to take the one from my sub-faction. That was the thing I hated the most about the old books.
It was horrible.
So I love that they changed that. It feels great. All of the Storm hosts feel really good. They've made both the Storm Keeps and the other ones, the Storm hosts feel good. So it's a cool book, and I like the way they felt durable. They were now doing mortal wounds. They felt like every time you killed them, I got something out of them.
Yeah, you took your pound of flesh every time. And they were, like, the bowmen were offensive in an interesting way. Even just the -1 rend across the board, it was important. The mortal wounds, like, it's all
the mortal wound
so
potential.
Bad before. And the Liberators, the Liberaces, they were tanky.
Super tanky.
For what they did, they're like kind of cheap battle line. They were tanky, and I thought
agree.
it was much better designed.
And I never really got to use their ability to do mortal wounds.
Yes, that's right.
But they, again, 2d3 a turn they could be doing.
Amazing.
Which is great.
Yeah. Cool.
It just didn't really work out the way it happened, but I was impressed, and I really liked it, and so I'm excited for that. And of course, in that game we played this morning, we recapped that one a little bit already during that game, but that was a little tough. I think one of the things we found is the AdMech. When you tech the AdMech down, it's still very much AdMech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways to play that army, and they're all going to be pretty lethal. There's only one really bad way, which is if you tech all into like Cataphrons.
Totally.
They're pretty just definitively
They're pretty
bad.
Yeah.
But even then, they could be lethal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So much of the book is really powerful, and not even like, oh, it's good but not competitive. Like it's very like the priests, right? They're not in the most competitive builds, but they are amazing units, right? And the other thing is the forge rolls are great. Anything but Graya is excellent.
Yeah.
And the Drukhari really rely on Cult of Strife.
On their layers.
The layers, yeah. I think you can build cool different lists, but then you almost have to lean into something. So for example, a Coven, for example, you can make something interesting, but you're going really hard into that, right?
Right.
Which we'll do in the future. But
it felt like your army was small when I looked at it, and I know you had a few expensive units, but normally there's a lot of units, and it just felt small.
Yeah.
And each one didn't even, it's not small because it was mega elite. It felt small, and the units didn't even feel big enough that they wouldn't bounce.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, it felt like it might struggle a bit.
It highlights why Drukhari might be such a problem right now, in the sense that it's a knife's edge, right? You can see how they would be the kind of the border of like not very good or whatever, but with just a few key abilities that they do have, obviously, they become amazingly powerful, right? So you can understand maybe a bit and empathize a bit with the designers as far as like how tough that is to balance.
They're very binary abilities. It's not like you can tone back.
Right.
It's like,
how do you tone back?
Do they
turning off
have
Overwatch?
fight first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do they have turn off Overwatch?
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do they?
Can they move through everything or not?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. So it was interesting to see, and to be honest, like I also blundered immediately, right? I just didn't trade properly. Took some risks. They didn't pay off.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And that kind of got rid of any leeway I might have had. Right.
Right.
And that's you can't do that.
Because the AdMech were kind of on you and lethal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much in a game like that.
You were putting up pressure. You had good OPSEC. The transports were amazing as always.
Transports are so good.
They're great. Right?
Yeah. They're everything.
So I think it's cool to see because people are always asking like, what if we want to run the other things from X, Y, or Z army? And in this case, we kind of got to see, especially for the AdMech, running those more like B tier things are still great.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, let's take the rest of these questions.
Okie doke. Thanks, Piper. Not a question, but I've had a pretty terrible past 2 days, and hearing your shout out made my heart really happy.
Yay!
I'm so glad you guys like my work.
We love your work. It's amazing.
That's kind of an understatement. Sorry you had a bad day, but we really do love your work. We have at least one full army in the works with your models.
Absolutely.
Probably more. And they're really unbelievable. It's not only super interesting and creative. Your models are genuinely better than the Games Workshop line, which is saying something because Tau is one of the most popular and aesthetically pleasing lines.
No, they're
GW's known for making amazing models.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So to one-up them in like a whole line, it's pretty genuinely impressive.
They're just all beautiful and characterful and like.
But also they've got a cohesive look and feel, and
exactly.
It's really a complete system.
Perfect. I saw it. I was like, I need to do this. This is happening.
I strongly agree. If you haven't seen it, go check out Piper's models. They're Tau. You can get them, and you could build your own whole Tau army from them, and they're stunning.
They're very nice.
Thank you, Sugar Water Purple. What is your opinion on varnishing plastic miniatures? Is it necessary? Does it affect the finished colors significantly?
Oh, great question. You in particular have had a relationship with this in the past.
Well, first of all, my opinion is that you should varnish all your miniatures every time, forever.
Absolutely.
I matte finish my models because I don't want them looking glossy. Don't do that. Never do that. And you could gloss varnish very specific spots of a model, but don't ever gloss finish an entire model.
Yeah.
So you matte varnish because matte makes the model look better under most lighting conditions. It won't necessarily change the paint, but it does change the way light reflects off of it, which is going to make the model look a lot better. But it also protects the model, so your paint isn't going to chip or damage. But applying it incorrectly can damage your model. And incorrectly means if it's coming out of a spray can, you have to do it at the right temperature and distance and volume.
Humidity.
Make sure there's not a bunch of don't do it with an army that's been sitting on the shelf for a while and it's super dusty.
Oh, yeah, because you'll lock in the dust and you'll never get it out.
Yeah.
Unless they're Thousand Suns.
Dusty boys.
That's right.
Exactly.
I sometimes these days I find I do it with an airbrush just because I have more control over it.
Yeah, I just use the Vallejo matte, matte varnish.
Yeah,
and it works great.
I find it sticks in my airbrush, so I can't do like 3,000 points at once or something.
That's fair. Yeah.
But whatever.
It's fairly thick.
If I do a rattle can, I use the Testers matte varnish. They come in like short cans, and it's even more matte than the Vallejo, which looks good. The more matte, the better. And but you can only use it in a perfect rattle can condition.
Yeah. It's so matte. It makes it look like a 2D image.
It's
There's
so
no
matte.
light bouncing off.
Yeah, it's so matte.
Thank you, Fang of Fate. Thanks for the Blade Guard answer. Once again, I donate and vanish into the night. What are some standout combos from Argent Shroud and Valar's Heart?
Ooh. So, Argent Shroud, there's a couple things. One obvious answer that everyone thinks about is the multi-melta retributors, obviously. That's kind of the thing. But I've also found it to be really nice for even just like a single melta in a Battle Sister squad, right? Because you're getting that single reroll, you're getting the advance and shoot without penalties, and it just makes that one thing that much more powerful. So that's one of my favorite things, is not mega powerful melta units, but it's almost kind of, scattering these throughout your units. So that's something I think is really powerful there.
Yeah, I like that. What about the other one?
What was the other one?
There's Argent Shroud and
Valor's Heart.
Valor's Heart. So durability, right? Nothing that immediately stands out. They have the -1 toughness relic, I believe, which to me is the most interesting, like non-obvious thing, right? They're obviously good about durability. You can tech into the Storm Shield ladies, but I think the -1 toughness is something that I would look to trying if this is like your order.
Yeah,
that's one of the relics I would look to because that's really, really powerful, especially on like strength 3 bodies.
It's huge. It's enormous.
Yeah. So, there you go.
All right, thank you, Tony. Have you guys taken advantage of AOSreminders.com for your list building this evening?
We did not.
Shame.
Yeah, we should.
Shame on you. I'm going to use, there's an equivalent thing for Star Wars Legion, and I'm going to do that.
Right.
Boy, do we need reminders on what all the keywords mean.
We really do. Yeah, and I think Tony had suggested this before. I mean, let's check it out.
We were, we've got so much going on trying to get all these games together that just trying anything new outside of our normal process, we didn't have the time for.
Well, certainly this week, right?
It's hard to, maybe it's hard to picture, but these games, we're not just doing stuff while the games are on.
Yeah.
Before the games, we're preparing clips, writing lists, setting up terrain, doing photography, doing posts, responding to answers, other kind of business tasks that need done, technical issues, setting up new scenes and images and graphics. And so it's like double the amount of time that you see us on air each day.
At least, yeah.
At least, right.
Yeah.
And so
that's all the hours, actually.
It's literally been all the hours.
Yeah, when it's a normal week, it's like workable, Like I'm full-time and we do three streams a week, and it takes up a lot of my time prepping those.
Yeah.
When we're doing a stream a day, 2 streams on some days, there's no leeway. We left at, I don't know, midnight, and then we're back here at 6 a.m., and there's been no chance.
Yeah, so just trying anything new is pretty challenging.
Yeah. But we'll check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aiden.
Thank you.
Hey, Titans. Thoughts on Snakebites list? We have Mozrog, a second Beast Boss, 20 Snagas, 5 Commandos, 3 Meganobs, 3 Smasher Squigs, 18 Hog Boys, 2 Kill Rigs, 3 Squig Buggies.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in there.
You know the one thing I'm going to say, right?
Hog Boys can't go through buildings. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's something you should always bring up. 15 Hog Boys. Don't take those units of 6. It's
Big
so hard to movement already.
Yeah.
Just go. I know it's not the maximum number of squigs, but you're going to thank yourself later on.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think it's great.
It's going to be a lot easier to work with. And then you could even take the 3 Meganobs up a little bit too, because it's hard to get value out of 3 in my opinion.
Up to 5.
Yeah. You want a 5-man, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this list. This is awesome.
Very cool. A lot of fun.
Hey, Matt, I'm taking Custodes to a major for the first time Saturday.
Yeah, you are.
What major's on Saturday?
Yeah, there's a lot of tournaments around the world.
That's true.
Big world.
Any tips for secondaries? Oh, I got you, fam. Stranglehold to the last, whatever the mission objective is. Except when it's bad, then good luck. I don't know. Figure it out.
Do you ever grind them down?
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's trap.
It's a trap. Yeah.
It's just like, you can look at it as a Custodes player and be like, I think I can do it.
Right.
And then you never can, because you will go first, not score at that turn, and then the last turn, you'll kill a thing and they'll kill 2 things and you won't get it that turn either. Yep. So it's 9 points. You could have just done like banners in your deployments event for 10.
Yeah.
Like, just don't even try Grind them down never works. If you're against like a Space Marine type thing, no prisoners. If you're against actual competitive armies, and if there isn't a mission specific, you're just not going to get more than like 10 points on that third secondary, which is a bummer. But if you crush them on the primary, if you just really win the game, then you actually win the game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's Custodies.
It feels like they need one more secondary, like a Codex or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. He goes on to say, I have Trajan, Bike Captain, 3 Sagittarum, 3 Shield Guard, 2 Galatis.
Yeah.
It says 2 Gladius, but that could be Caladius or Galatis. That's equally close to either. I'm going to go with Galatis.
It's Galatis because there's 2 Caladius Grav tanks at the end.
And then no way.
Whoa, how did he fit all that?
So it's 2 Galatis, Telamon, 5 Venator, 2 Caladius. So he has...
What? Only 2 troops?
Took out 6 Sagittarum and a Galatis to put in 2 Caladius.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got more downfield shooting.
Interesting.
It doesn't have as much durability as the list that you typically play, but it has more downfield shooting. The problem with the
sisters doesn't have
it doesn't have the sisters. Yeah, so you have you have less bodies just kind of on the point. Which if you go back and watch some of Bridger's games, most of his games were won just by like one body with
tiny
OPSEC.
margins. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you'll find often that matters. It wasn't a lack of output that lost him any game ever.
Yeah.
It was a body on a point somewhere. And so the Caladius Grav tanks aren't going to help you there.
I wouldn't bring them.
Well, you don't love them just because they're no longer by any stretch efficient. They can be killed just like anything else, and their gun is not in any sweet spot at all.
Their output is lesser to any of the Dreadnoughts that get into combat.
In combat, yeah.
But like if you take their shooting, which they get every turn, versus Dreadnought combat, which you get most turns. The Dreadnought combat ekes it out, and then you add on the Flamers on the Dreadnoughts, which they will get every turn. Because they move 9 and then you shoot 12.
You also add up the Dreadnoughts soak up a ton of fire. That's the real
and the
value.
durability.
Yeah, the durability
so it's
is
like
the main
the Caladius, if they did legitimately have more output than the Dreadnoughts, I would say go for it. Yeah. But they don't.
The only way the Caladius works is if they're really far downfield, never getting touched, and just indiscriminately shoot.
If you play on a larger board than normal.
No, the problem is that everyone's got so much terrain these days that it's hard to be so far back and drawing line of sight. And you don't have Trajan back there with them because Trajan's got to be up the board. So it is tricky to we love them, they're cool. It's really hard to make them work.
Honestly, even when we played on a 4x6, my Caladiuses were backline deployed every game all the time.
Yeah.
And I still felt like I wanted to be farther away.
Yeah, of course.
They have like 72-inch guns. And you're like, the only way this thing survives is if I outrange you by your full movement.
You used to play against Tau a lot, and I had 36-inch range. So you used to just play the range game with me.
It's the only way to play them. Everything outshoots a Caladius for its points.
Right.
Anyway, it's a cool list. Those are my changes. Thank you, Tony. Fun fact, Pedro Pascal's stunt double on The Mandalorian is the grandson of John Wayne, Brendan Wayne.
My God.
That's cool. What a great show.
Fun fact.
Yeah, that's a great
show.
show.
They got another season coming out, right?
No,
for sure they do.
Canceled.
Canceled,
you know.
Canceled.
Nobody liked it.
All
Squid
of Disney.
Game was so good that they canceled all other television.
Now they're just making more Squid Game ripoffs. The next Mandalorian is just Squid Game.
In space, though. It's Squid Game in space.
I love it.
Yeah.
They did just announce Witcher Season 2, though. I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I actually really liked the Season 1 of The Witcher.
It was nice. It was really nice. And also, basically the same show as Mandalorian. They're like, how about like a Western set in somewhere else where it's a monster, it's like Mystery Monster. Cool.
Witcher had a better song, though.
It's a good formula.
It had several.
Oh, the like Celtic.
The Toss a Coin to Your Witcher.
Toss a coin to your Witcher. No?
Okay. No.
Well, it's not a Taylor Swift song.
It's not.
But it could be based off one.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Thank you, Max. Hey, Brian. Pretend a fully painted vampire army fell into your lap. What units are you taking?
I think
This is a leading question.
I really like the skeletons as my main troops. I don't love, as they're saying, I don't love the new zombies as much. Although the models are cool, the vampires just seem so grim and scary and cool, and so I really, really like them. I love the Blood Knights because they're so classic from fantasy days for me. So I am really into them.
And they're great now. They're one of the terrors in the game currently.
Oh, are they really?
Yep.
I love the just the wolves, the new dire wolves.
Yeah.
I really like them too. And then there's almost no vampire characters I don't like. I like mostly all the ones that are very classic vampire-y looking. I never got behind the zombie dragons. I always thought they looked awful.
They're not very vampire-y, but that's kind of what makes the Sigmar world vampires different. They ride zombie dragons. Like, normally you think vampire, well, they just turn into a bat and fly away.
Right.
Why would they need a mount?
Yeah.
Because it's Sigmar. We gotta have giant monsters riding around on your zombie
they're
dragons.
so iconic to me at this point that I get it. Yeah, they're not traditional vampire, but I'm like, yeah, Warhammer Fantasy, zombie dragons, obviously.
I mean, it's so Warhammer Fantasy. Like, everybody has a mega wizard riding a giant thing.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't really made it until you have your mega mount.
And that's why dwarves got killed as a faction. They didn't have a mega wizard riding a giant thing. And you know what they got replaced with? They got replaced with Fire Slayers, who have a mega wizard riding a giant thing.
I was thinking of the Caradrons that ride boats, which also works.
Did they make new Graveguard?
New Graveguard, yes.
Yeah.
They made new models?
Graveguard, I don't know. The regular skeletons they did.
I don't remember. I used to, as a kid, I used to love Graveguard.
Yeah, I think there's a new one. There has to be a new one. Yeah.
But I think there is new Graveguard, yeah. I love Graveguard as well.
They're so cool.
And I love that, that white Right King,
the White King?
White King.
Yeah.
The Barrow Lord.
The one that looks like the one from Diablo. Yeah.
Yes. I love him.
He's so cool.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's stuff I really like.
There you go.
Thanks, Thomas. Howdy from the Three Amigos. From the Three Amigos.
Oh, dang.
Major congrats to you guys for expanding our favorite channel. Played my first game of Star Wars Armada and loved it.
Ooh.
Have you all played, and what are your thoughts?
I have not.
I've seen it played. It looks incredibly complicated.
Yeah, I've seen it played, and I almost pulled the trigger on it because I love spaceship games.
It's like BFG, but I think it has like twice as many rules.
I always thought that games like that should be really complicated because there's so few models, and you want to like almost like simulation them in a way.
Right. Yeah, and that is the direction
100%.
they go.
Oh, yes. I love that kind of stuff.
So, yeah, I almost pulled the trigger on it, but I just didn't have anyone to play
Have you ever played the board game? This is going to be tangential.
Okay.
Board game where you are a team in a submarine, and everybody has like a station, and it's a co-op game.
No.
Everybody's like doing their station in the submarine.
No.
But if anybody fails, you pretty much lose.
It's a board game?
It's a board game, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, there's like a gunner and a pilot and like an engineer
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
and a navigator.
There's a few classic games that are kind of like that, right? Or even video games. One of my favorite like simplified versions of it is Lovers in a Dangerous Time Space.
In a dangerous space-time.
Space-time, and it's like the two of you have to run around and like man different parts of the ships.
Yeah.
And it's like an absurd version of this concept,
Yeah.
which is so interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
So that game was developed in an office like right below mine in Toronto.
Oh.
And so I knew the developers of them, and
So you
one of my good
stomp on the
friends.
floor and you say, be
Are
quiet
you the
down
Lovers?
there."
One of my good friends used to go down all the time, and he'd play it like every week or something. I didn't really get to go over and meet them too often, but it was the same time I was working on indie games too.
So cool.
And that little neighborhood in Toronto has so many amazing indie developers. Across the street is Capybara Games, and there's just across the other street was a company called Drinkbox Studios. I don't know if you know them. They made Guacamelee and a bunch of other great games.
I know the game, yeah.
And it's amazing neighborhood for indie games, and that was an amazing game to watch get built.
Captain Sonar is the board game I was talking about.
Captain Sonar.
Cool.
Sounds appropriate.
It's like, play it once and you'll probably never play it again.
There was an early iPhone game called Space Team. Do you know that one?
Space Team now.
No, it was cool. Everyone it was like a local got together, and what happened was you got an instruction on your screen, which was something someone had to do.
Yeah.
And you had to yell it out, and you didn't know who else had the thing. So there would all be weird instructions. Like I would have like a dial that would be called like a Whizzy Doodle, and I would be like, somebody turn the Whizzy Doodle, and it's like everyone's yelling something like that, and you have to turn the Whizzy Doodle, and like someone else is like, pull the thingy-wigger, and I'm like, okay, cool, and it's all these and everyone's just shouting, it's chaos, and there's time counting down. If you're not doing it, your spaceship is like breaking apart.
That's so cool.
So same kind of idea, and it was really, really great.
I love that concept. I know, and we'll move on in a second, but I had and when I was an undergrad, one of my classes, one of the assignments was to adapt basically a different form of media into a game format, and I picked a Stompa naturally, and so I had this proposal for a game that was it was the same concept about you kind of playing these like manic orc mech and the crew running around and trying to get the pistons to work and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just really like the concept. It would be like a cross section kind of thing.
Right, I got it.
Yeah.
It'd be super wacky.
That's cool.
You should do it, James. Here's your that one's free.
That's a free one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. Started a Salamander list. I keep getting told I have 2 elite of an army.
Okay.
Any tips on how to avoid this? Take more units.
There's more, yeah.
The meat of the list is 6 ATVs, 5 Eradicators, 5 Aggressors, 5 Terminators, and Apothecary. You don't have any troops, dude!
That's the meat of the list. It's not the potatoes.
But the problem is there's no potatoes.
You need potatoes.
So you have to tell us what potatoes you have, so we can tell you what more potatoes to take.
Yeah.
Take out all of the ATVs and have any troops at all.
Hurtful.
Hurtful.
You need troops.
I also own 6 ATVs.
Yeah.
Do I own 9 ATVs? No, I think 6.
Because you also have a tough time even fielding 6.
It's hard.
It's tough. You have to like force it.
You have
like
to
you'll pay
cut all of your troops.
2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
The second 3 is like tough to justify.
And they're hard to move on the board. They take up a ton of space.
True.
And I was kind of underwhelmed with their output, honestly, if I'm not.
Yeah. Well, without the rerolls, right? It's tough.
He's got the melt on them, and he's Salamander, so he's at least getting the +1 to wound, which is nice, but it's still in the okay.
Yeah, you do need some cheaper bodies.
Yeah.
Shave some of this, I would say.
This is a lot of points. He might not have troops.
No, that's not 2K.
It's not, yeah, but
Not even close.
Also, I like ATVs when they're more like attack bikes, when it's like a single guy, and they could be more throwaway, and they're just fast.
Yeah.
So
Did they fact the thing where you can res ATVs?
Yeah,
they
they
did,
fact a long
right? So
time
like
ago.
this list, at first glance, is just trying to abuse that, but you can't do that
The
anymore.
Apothecary
It's not
goes, the Aggressors, the Terminators.
yeah, no, the Apothecary is great on
Eradicators.
everything.
Yeah.
Um,
And to be clear, they still get the 6 up Feel No Pain.
yeah. So I'm into it. It's cool.
Yeah, you just need more potatoes.
Yeah, more throwaway stuff. And they could even, if you want them to have meltas, like again, you could have attack bikes with meltas, and there's things like that are fast and can do some damage.
I don't know what Zach did, but are you guys getting like wafts of intense paint smell?
No? Are you
Great.
having a stroke?
No, you're sitting next to the Star Wars train,
Oh, okay.
which is still drying.
Every like minute or so, I'm like, wow, paint.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Ethrian. Hey, y'all. I've just finished my first of my Primaris TWC, to Thunderwolf
Cavalry.
Cav. Yep, conversion.
Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures of it. It was cool. I mentioned it previously. Going to submit him for local competition, but I had to rush him out for said competition. Good games.
Well,
It's
that's
actually,
great.
it's a cool conversion.
Yeah, I've seen it. It looks awesome.
Ooh,
Oh,
you have
saw
to show
the
it to
pictures
me.
too? Yeah, it's cool.
I love Thunderwolf Cavalry, but I've seen a lot of people scale them too, and I think it often looks better. Sometimes the original Thunderwolf Cavalry look a little small for the size of the game that it is now.
The guy on top, he's like, yeah, go.
Yeah, and a Space Marine weighs like 1,000 pounds. Like it's gonna have to be a much bigger wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like 400 pounds, Brian.
Yeah.
Let's chill out on that.
1,000 pounds.
How much do you think a Space Marine weighs?
400 pounds. In or out of armor?
The guy riding on a thing is obviously in armor.
So
It's more than 400 then.
there's, right, I think out of armor, they're 400 pounds.
Out of armor, the 400?
Yeah.
I'd say more like 300.
Okay. I mean, we're like, it's like an 8-foot tall dude that's twice as jacked as anybody's ever been.
350.
Right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. Are you Googling it?
scaling up in 3 dimensions gets weird
probably
fast.
it's almost
weighs-
800 pounds
Out of his armor?
in armor.
Okay.
I feel like,
Obviously, we're talking about in
You
armor.
just made up that
That's
number,
too
Brian.
light.
You just made that.
I didn't.
You made that.
what'd you do? What are you looking at?
I googled it, and there was like a fandom page where they
No.
talked about it.
800? I feel like,
I could see the armor being heavy, though.
I think it's more than that. The armor weighs more than the guy, for sure.
He's got an energy pack. How much do you think a Thunderhammer alone weighs?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
150
No,
pounds?
Thunderhammer's like 50 pounds, Brian.
No.
No.
No. Are you
Thunderhammer's
kidding me?
not.
Thunderhammer's taller than you.
You could lift a 50-pound weight, probably.
Of course I could, but
You could not lift a Thunderhammer.
No, Thunderhammers.
Thunderhammers
you're
are
crazy.
like technology. They're not. It's not just like a giant slab you beat people
Well,
with.
that's definitely part of it.
No.
It is.
It's sure. It's like a small
There's
portion.
a story where the power
Alright,
pack
chat.
runs out on the,
Chat,
on
back
the
me up.
Thunderhammer, and he still does a ton of damage because it's so heavy. He talks about it.
You could swing if you're a Space Marine, you can swing a baseball bat and kill somebody.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So why not?
it could be anything. It doesn't have to be the Thunderhammer's heavy.
Exactly.
I'll bet they're like 50 pounds.
No.
50
50
pounds.
Yeah.
Like, there are real world 50-pound sledgehammers.
And
Have
they're
you seen them?
huge.
They're
No,
not.
they're not. They're like this.
tiny.
No.
They're tiny.
A 10-pound sledge is like.
A proper bolter is going to be a
that big.
couple hundred pounds with all of its ammo. Like
You're just making up numbers, man.
No, it's true.
No
like
way.
a Primera
Humans
scale
can't
bolter.
carry them.
Yeah, you're crazy. You're crazy.
That's too big.
This I'm now going with armaments.
Yeah.
With storm shields and
too big.
Thunderhammer, like 1,100
How much do you think a storm
Plus.
shield weighs?
A storm shield,
150 pounds.
300.
Yeah.
You guys are just throwing out absolute nonsense, ridiculous numbers.
It's a power pack.
It's just
adamantine
a
shield.
force field generator. The shield itself does nothing.
That's not true.
There are tiny little storm shields, little baby-sized ones,
Yeah,
because it's just a shield.
Like,
it's
you have
just a
to-
generator.
No, I don't know.
No,
What do you guys think?
No, Bridger just doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's ridiculous.
Bridger's saying this like they're using Fisher-Price hammers and they're carrying like garbage can lids. This is his version of his Emperor's Astartes.
It's an 8-year-old's Halloween costume. Yes.
The trash starties.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
he's so wrong.
We're on Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. I'm facing orcs this Friday with my AdMech. Anything I need to look out for. My list is Brian's, but 2 transports instead of so much MSU infiltrator.
Ah, this is Jacob Keelhorn. Necron
good.
Jacob. Welcome to the dark side. I see you broke. Advice.
It says, good.
Okay, facing orcs this Friday with your AdMech. Now, it depends on the nature of the orcs. So most, like your average orc list that isn't all buggies is going to be one kind of game. And I'm going to go ahead to say is that generally your list is better in combat, better in shooting, better at trading. So if you're against anything that's not the buggies, you just play a chill game. You trade, you just don't commit anything. Put just in what you need. You don't need to overextend. You don't need to come at him. Make him come to you. And as soon as he tries to overextend, you step out and you drop his army. It's really no problem. Now, if they've got the buggies, the buggies are just gonna do a number on you.
Yeah, they're great.
So now you have the transports, right? So the thing about the buggies is they're the perfect weapon to wipe out all of your really good ruststalkers and infiltrators and ponies and sterilizers. They just kill it all. And you can't kill any of those buggies. So what you need to look out for is one, do the buggies have fallback, which
Blood axes.
if they're blood axes and they can fall back, then you can't tag them. But a lot of people these days are doing them as freebooters because they want the extra DAC. They're greedy.
Yep.
So what you can plan to do is use your
They're greedy.
infiltrators and other things to...
You know how much a Thunderhammer weighs? 5 kilograms. Get dunked on. It's just technology. It's force fields, bro.
No, don't believe it.
It's force fields, bro.
No.
We'll get back to
Get
that.
boomed.
So,
Get boomed.
But
No.
if they don't have fallback, you can use things like infiltrators. And I'm not saying like deploy them all on the line, but you can even advance them and charge them up and go for a tag. You have to watch out. They do fight pretty well, but you can survive it. And you could tag them, start to hold up their shooting while you kind of move up the board and swamp them. Because they don't have much of an army once they're taking all these buggies.
Yep.
So that's one thing. If they can't fall back and shoot, use your infiltrators to tag them, or your ponies, whatever.
Sure.
And then, if you try to get into combat with them, you really need to come correct. Like you need to have
I'm correct, yeah.
a unit that, like a ruststalker unit with the buffs, to have a chance to kill them because there's a lot of wounds there, and it's not easy. And you have to ask yourself, like, what am I getting for this? And so go in with a huge unit. Use your transport, then advance out of it, make the charge, kill a whole unit, and then like blob up such that you can be making them fight last.
Right.
Minor correction, bro.
Yeah.
I was exactly right. It is 50 pounds. A human one is 10 pounds. A Space Marine one is 50 pounds.
Is there a human Thunderhammer?
I was exactly correct. I don't
There's no
know
such thing as the human thunder.
where these numbers are coming from, but I will believe them because
Completely
they
unchecked
verify
sources.
what I said, which is a Thunderhammer is 50
You didn't
pounds.
read all the other ones that say the opposite.
No, the other ones were saying Space Marines weigh a ton, like a lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
Space
Space Marine
Marines
weighs
don't-
Those are the people that are correct.
You know what? I was wrong about the weight of a Space Marine. You said 300, I said 400. Turns out it's like 800. I was wrong about Space Marines, but I was right about Thunderhammers. 50 pounds is how much a Thunderhammer weighs.
No, I don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Why would it be heavy? It's just
Why
a
wouldn't it be
rocket on a
heavy?
stick.
It's a rocket on it. They have rockets now.
They have force field generators.
That's not a rocket.
Well, basically,
They still
is.
have to swing them heavy.
No, it's just gravity distortion. You make heavy in front, light behind.
Oh.
You go. What?
Now they're distorting gravity. They're just making up tech that they have in these things.
That's how warp drives work. You make a pocket of gravity. You make a low density space in front of you and a high density space behind you, and you go forward.
So why don't we just teleport these thunder hammers into people's heads?
Why don't we, Adrian?
That's next level.
It's very orky.
Excellent question.
That's what a shock attack gun is, except they're just grots. Turns out that's
I'm not
all you
really
need.
seeing any evidence for this 50-pound thunder hammer.
I'm gonna have to do more research. Like, I'm not gonna.
Cite your sources, Chase. They're doubting you. I would never
Yeah.
doubt you. This is from the Dark Heresy books, is what he's saying.
I might not have much free time tonight, but I'm willing to spend all of it doing this
all
research.
of it.
All of the time.
Anyways, that's the way you fight this this orc. It can be done.
Yeah.
That's why people are going to these flyers.
To this?
Because the flyers can't be killed by the buggies. The -1 to hit is rough. The -1 damage is rougher.
Yeah.
And then you just fly over with your last cannons and then just eat them up. And then they lose. So in the constant rock, paper, scissors that is competitive 40K, currently the AdMech flyers are beating the, well, everything else. But, you know, the orcs and the Drukhari, which are the two other big bads.
Well said.
I can't read. My vision's going. I can't really read.
I can't read them at all, so.
But you
Dark Heresy plus Death Watch, it seems.
Oh, the Death Watch books will tell you how right I am that a Thunderhammer weighs 50 pounds.
All right.
I need page numbers.
Yeah, page numbers. Screenshot.
Page numbers.
No, screenshot of the page.
God, this paint is so strong.
Thank you, Brandon. The rest of the Sally list is a bike captain. Wait, what? Oh.
We're caught up.
Okay, no. Okay, so he saw us saying, "Where's the rest of the list?"
Yeah.
Now he said, okay, so the rest of the Sally list is bike captain, chaplain, 15 intercessors, 5 blade guard. Should I cut 3 ATVs and add some company? Yes. First of all, yes. Cut 3 ATVs.
And also, you don't need more meltas. I know it's cool to like go into the salamander thing. Don't overdo it. You'll be fine. So at this point, you don't need more output. You need more utility.
More input.
Yeah. So
and guard vets.
yeah, more combat is good.
Speed.
And no, speed, durability, everything. They got it all. Actions.
This army lacks speed right now. The ATVs were the speed component, but they're like,
Well, they don't fight. So speed plus
they don't
fight
do
matters.
actions. They don't fight. Like, you want
Yeah, if you could get a
fast
squad or
action
two
fight.
Vanguard vets with like a claw and a shield,
Yeah.
you'd kill it with those.
Yeah, I think it's looking nasty.
Yeah.
I really wish I could reach out right now, but my vision is just not
I just see all the ats.
where it should be. Last one of the night, and that's it. Last one, because we need to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Captain Athenos. Thank you for the entertainment. Hot take, Black Templars. That's the hot take.
They're asking for that.
Good, bad, ugly. I see them rated as one of the worst melee chapters now, but I see a good all-around force. I'll tell you what, Captain Athenos, it's just another Dreadnought Space Marine army in competitive. They're all the same.
I give them the ugly.
They're all
personally.
the same.
I give them ugly.
You're going to take 2 Volkite Contemptors. They have a 5-up involved. The rest of the army's just Space Marine stuff. They're all the same
You're
to
gonna
me.
take.
What, Contemptors already had the 5-up involved, so.
No, but like every
Heavyweight.
chapter just has their own way of getting a 5-up involved.
Contemptors already have a 5-up.
You already have a 5-up involved. You're going to take Redemptors, whatever. Redemptor, it doesn't matter. It's just another Dreadnought Space Marine army. That's the only way to play them right now.
No.
Anyways, it's not an amazing book, competitively speaking.
No, it's not. They lost a few of their. They lost their shenanigans. That were the one thing making them do a thing.
Yeah, and I wasn't advocating for them to keep those weird tricks.
That was a dumb gimmick.
Because those
It was.
tricks.
Yeah.
But I was advocating for them having great ways to deliver combat units, like Advance and Charge.
Exactly.
And Devout Push could have been rewritten somehow, but as a delivery mechanism of some
It was
kind.
pretty jank, Brian.
Whatever. They don't even have like a bunch of rogue
It should
interventions
have been
stuff
like,
this, you know.
make one of the dice a 6 on your charge.
What if they just gave them like move again?
No. Why would that?
That'd be
no.
cool.
It should be a charge delivery mechanism.
Warp time.
Post Hawk, you've already rolled the charge. 1 CP, make one of the dice a 6.
Sure,
Done.
whatever.
I like that.
Delivery mechanisms.
That's your devout. You are pushing
Devoutly.
with your devotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely went down from where they were. The book has a lot more personality, so it's a better codex, and as a collector and a person who's playing the game, it's a better book. As a competitive-only book, it's not better. It has lots of tools. We haven't dug through it yet.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. It's not going to shake up the current meta in any way.
Yeah, and you're right, Captain Athenos. When you say it's an all-around force, it's kind of the conclusion we were
all-around
coming
force.
to.
Yeah, it's
is we're like,
utilities.
yeah, this isn't a melee one anymore. It's just it has tools for a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And that's if we were to to a way to kind of make this competitive, I would lean into that more than anything else personally.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, we did it.
We did the thing.
We done gone did it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been an awesome day playing 40K, playing Sigmar. One last final reminder before we sign out. Tomorrow, we're playing 40K at our usual time. It will be the Black Templars versus the Orcs. It's going to be awesome. Friday, of course, we have Star Wars Legion, which I'm smelling right now, followed by Hobby Titans. And we're wrapping it all up on Saturday with classic 40K. This is going to be the pre-order day for Arctarius. We're going to be playing NIDS with or without new rules. We're going to do it because this is the public debut of the Titan Watch.
That's right. Very excited.
A lot of fun. And you're going to be, it's your turn to play the Titan Watch. I did my part. Let's see if you can do yours.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.
Bye.